about the Back to Blue movement that was going on as well in conjunction with the Black Lives Matter movement?
As far as like Back to Blue, I support police officers, the ones that are, doing their job, but not only the ones that are doing their job, but the ones that are challenging the ones that they know are not doing their job. It's okay to, try to not be involved in things, but when it's things of police brutality and people's lives are being lost, you can't just be the one good cop. You gotta say something to your other people. So I do support the police, but Back to Blue, I do not support that because that organization was created after Black Lives Matter. I feel like that was a direct retaliation. And Black to Blue, that's not like, first of all, African Americans, Black people, we're already marginalized. How are you gonna marginalize an already marginalized group? Like the police, they are protected, they're honored, they're highly revered. And for them to be the ones that's protecting and serving, to create this organization that pretty much diminishes what we are trying to say, I don't think that's cool. Like I can't get with the Back to Blue people. Like for me, it just doesn't make sense because blue is not a person. I'm never gonna not be Black. There is no way.
Period.
I could never not be Black. I could never change my skin color. I could never appear different to you. You can change your job. You can quit. If you don't want to be a police officer, okay, cool, bye. Like, but I can't do that. I can't be like, oh, I want to be Black today, girl. Let me put in the application. Let me put in the application to be white. Wait.
Denied. One drop.
I can't put in the application. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
As light as I am, I'm still Black. You know what I'm saying? Once I start talking, they already know.
Barack Obama, he biracial. It's still Black. It's just, no.
Kamala Harris.
Black. They ignore everything else about her. She's Black. And no one else has to deal with that. So no, I don't support Back to Blue because they marginalize an already marginalized and vulnerable population instead of doing the right thing, which was listening to their causes and listening to what people are going through and checking your own people. And then instead of knowing things are wrong, okay, you know it's wrong, but are you going to do something about it? Because people's lives are being lost. So no, I don't back no blue. Sorry.
Yeah, in regards to me and Black to Blue, like Vanessa said, I support the police because we do need police officers to protect and serve our communities. We don't need them to racially profile our communities or over-police our communities or, keep the cycle going. There are private prisons that profit off of people being locked up, and that is not the system that we need in place. Mass incarceration is real. And so if you are doing that and not trying to put solutions back into the community, that's where I have an issue with things. And I want to speak a little bit on defunding the police because they got a lot of negative attention, with people. And they're saying, oh, you're trying to cut jobs from the police office. No, what we were saying in that was that the police budget was millions and millions of dollars, but the amount of solutions and money that they're putting into the community to fix the problems instead of locking people up. You're not dealing with mental health issues if you're just locking people up or killing them. You're not dealing with the lack of educational programs for the disenfranchised youth by just locking them up because they're selling drugs. You're not dealing with the single parent household and things of that nature. But like if you put some of that money out of policing and put that into the community, then we're talking about fixing the problem instead of over-policing our communities and locking up our Black and brown people. There are good police officers that do their job, and we need them to speak up and speak out on the wrongdoings, on what is going on, because the way we have things set up and people just getting on leave, policing is the only job that I know in America today where you can kill somebody and you can just be on leave, or you can still have your job.
Still get paid.
And still get paid. If I go into my job and shoot somebody wrongly because I was afraid, I'm going to be penalized. Any job in America is going to be penalized if you take the life of an innocent person if they were not doing anything to harm you? So I think that, that goes into one of my last questions, which is, what are the solutions that are needed to mend the hurt of America and the Black community? And what are some solutions to right some of the wrongs that is currently going on?
I think defunding the police or reallocating funds.
As people like to perk it up, make it sound better, reallocate.
Yeah, if reallocating funds, because like some of the calls that police get called out on, that's not a policing issue, like mental health. They don't get any training on that, so they wouldn't necessarily, they already have a bad rep when it comes to de-escalation. So if you have a person that's having a mental health crisis and you don't know how to handle that, of course you need a mental health professional. So yes, reallocating funds. And then as far as I know, Breonna Taylor, they have laws in place. Oh wow, is that a tongue twister or what? No knock raids. Yes, let's eliminate those. There are already laws in place, and a couple different states now that eliminates that, which I think that's a good thing, but I think more states need to do that. They dropped the charges against her boyfriend, which is amazing, but he shouldn't have been charged in the first place. Other things that I think should happen is there should be better training for the police, training on how to deal with people from different cultures and ethnicities, because things that are culturally that I'm used to, they may not be aware of, like the way we speak, the way we carry ourselves, and there should be some training on that, some cultural training, because if you're going to be working in these disenfranchised neighborhoods, these marginalized groups, you have to know their story, know their history, be aware before you just come in there and causing all kinds of havoc, when really a lot of that's not even necessary. It's just simple communication would be much more beneficial. And I think they need more like bias training. I think we all have bias, right?
Yeah.
And that it is what it is, but you have to be aware of it and then try to, check yourself. Actually, it was a study done maybe a couple years ago about like this video game training that police officers do, and they wrongfully shoot Black people more often. And I think it's more because of their biases of thinking that we present ourselves as a threat. Like when they see us, I guess they're more fearful. They have to change the way they approach us. And I think that's more of an insecurity within them and nothing to really do with us.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm just being me. Like, how is that my fault that you are afraid of me? Like, you're intimidated. I didn't do anything. It's just my presence intimidates you. I think they need to check themselves, because that sounds like a personal problem. But when your personal problem costs me my life, that's what I'm saying. They need to reevaluate some laws that are out of date, that are not modern, that are not with the times. They need training on dealing with different people from different cultures, different ethnicities. And I think they need to like address biases in these trainings, and not hire people that have a previous background of being hateful, people that have had a past of being hateful, police brutality in different organizations or in different police departments. We don't need to hire you in the next city over.
Right.
Like, there should be some kind of national registry where people who have had like a certain number of police brutality cases report to, that they don't keep getting rehired and re-offending people, because it's the people that look like me that are the targets, and it's unfortunate. But those are some of the things that I feel need to happen.
Good job, Vanessa. I'm proud of you. I wholeheartedly agree with everything that you just said. And in addition to that, training is definitely number one. Also, there needs to be repercussions in place if you do something that does not align with the morals and the values of the community and the police department. I know they all take an oath, and maybe they need to reevaluate that oath, but there needs to be repercussions in place if you do X, Y, and Z. For me, if you uphold the law, then you need to abide by the law.
Yep.
And I feel that murder is murder, and if it comes to, you know, a jury, and everything lines up where you pull the trigger and you got too happy, you need to serve time just as if a civilian decided to pull the trigger. So I know that the police are protected, you know, under all of the boards and all of the things that they have in place. But I think there comes a time where if you don't have any repercussions, then you're going to do whatever you want to do. Or if you have a continued history of police brutality, that needs to be taken into account to the repercussions that are in place. I support defunding police, funding our communities. Defund, Reclaim, Reinvest is a program that was put in place by NGAN that I helped put together and I do support. We need to put money in our communities and address the core issues and problems that lead to incarceration. If you're not helping the root cause, then it's always going to be a cycle. So you need to put efforts in place to help the communities. And then from a personal accountability standpoint, me as a person that's frustrated, yes, I'm on the front lines, and that may not be the role that you need to take. But if you have an issue with something, we need people to get involved, to voice their opinion, to speak up when things are not right. So whether that's joining an organization, using your God-gifted talents in a way that's going to help be the change that you want to see in the world. That is one of my biggest quotes that I try to live by. I cannot go on complaining about something if I'm not actively involved and trying to do my part in the solution. So whether you're on the front lines marching, yes, that's great. If you're behind the scenes helping with policy changes, if that's something that you're talented in, we need those people as well. Allies, we need you to be a voice for the voiceless. Breonna Taylor cannot speak for herself. You know, George Floyd can't speak for himself. Ahmaud Arbery can't speak for himself. So we need to be their voice and speak upon the people that do have these biases against them. And our allies and our males need to speak up on behalf of Black women, on women in general, to make sure that people know, no, that's not right. That's discriminatory. You know, that's gender bias. You know, those things need to be checked in place. We are history. We are living in history. And so we need to make sure that we are actively doing what it takes to make those changes come to fruition, so that you're not looking back in the history books and saying, man, that's it, I wish I would have done. No, you need to do what needs to be done and be a part of it. So we all have our God-gift talents. And I think that if you utilize your strengths, your voice, you don't have to be the loudest person in the room. But if you know how to write a law, if you know how to make a phone call, if you know how to write a letter to elected officials, then your voice is just as loud by doing some of those small things, because all of it adds up to the mission that we're trying to accomplish. So
absolutely, it's different ways to advocate. There is no one way that you have to do it. There's many ways to advocate. You can write letters, you can donate, join your local organization, you can march, you can support your friends when you're advocating.
Vanessa is my biggest ally. She supports me all the time.
Yes, because for me, I would rather not march. I would rather do something behind the scenes. But
support Black businesses. You know, we got apparel, Stop Killing Black People. I'm doing a plug for these earrings. My homegirl Ciobia in Chicago is a part of the movement. So yes, every little bit counts. Mm-hmm. And then I think lastly, love. If everybody had love, compassion in their heart, love your neighbor, you know, simple principles, the world would be a better place. You know, the KKK is full of hate. They tried to say that Black Lives Matter was a hate organization. No, we are speaking out because we are hated upon. But we need to spread the love. You know, love your allies and teach them. You know, some people are, you know, haven't been around Black people, and, you know, some Black people ain't been around, you know, good white people. And so we need to love on each other, love your neighbor, look after your neighbor, you know, treat those people as if they're your brother and your sister, you know, and the world would be, you know, a better place if we had more love in our hearts. So, yeah. But girl, that's all I got. What you got?
Oh yeah.
This was heavy, y'all.
When it comes to different organizations and Black Lives Matter specifically, and I know Black Lives Matter get a lot of flack because one person may have did something and they said they were in Black Lives Matter. Anybody can say they are part of the organization. So don't let the actions of one person who may or may not really be for the cause steer your thinking or change the narrative that you may have for Black Lives Matter. Like ultimately, it's an organization that wants to bring attention to the Black lives that are being killed due to police brutality. And I also want to say that I know people love to say black on black crime. That is not a thing. It's just crime. They just say it to make us look bad. There is crime in other neighborhoods. I ain't never heard of no white on white crime.
Mexican on Mexican crime.
I ain't never heard of that.
Asian on Asian crime.
And trust me, those things do exist. But who do you offend the people that you live with? And who do we live? We live amongst each other. We like to live amongst Black people, especially in those marginalized communities. They live with other Black people. So you offend the people that are around you. So they say black on black crime just to make us look crazy, to make us look bad, when it's just crime. There is crime all over the place. I ain't never heard nobody say something about no white on white crime, because they don't do that to them, because it's just crime. And when it comes to Black people, I know we like to hold a different standard for ourselves, but it's just crime. Mm-hmm. It's crime. You offend the people that are around you. Okay? Got it.
And my last little spiel too is, yes, I know that the Black community, we have work to do. We do need to clean up our own house, before we have demands of other people and how they should treat us. And I think we are making progress toward that. But once again, as we look at history, it's so much things that need to be addressed to build back that Black family. When African Americans were striving and thriving in the United States, Black Wall Street burned down. Every time we take 2 steps forward, we take it, 5 steps back. Even, the pandemic of the high incarcerations of locking up fathers, and then to put on, food stamps and things like that, but you can't have a Black man in a home in order to get this assistance. It's breaking down that Black family, that Black structure. You have more single, Black women raising kids with welfare and assistance. And how can you build up, your home when you have all of these things that are coming at you? If you live in low-income housing, then you're trying to stay within that range so you can afford to live and take care of your kids. It's so many things that have happened in history to the projects. We are from Chicago. They built the projects. It was a project. You know what I'm saying? And they put hundreds of people on top of each other that were all low income, and so that area is going to thrive with crime and all type of things, because you have a whole group of disenfranchised people in one area, trying to survive. And then you tear those down, and then gentrification comes into play, and then you move us out to the suburbs, and so we're always being displaced. And so It's never a good feeling moving or being displaced or trying to provide. It's like, you can't, get on top. And luckily for me and Vanessa, we're blessed because
and highly favored. Because
the area that we grew up in, there are some of our friends that are still there that have not made it out.
The same place.
And so it's just nothing against them, but it takes a certain mental capacity to say, I want to change. I want to do better for myself. It takes certain, people in our lives to be our mentors or to motivate us or to see our way out. Vanessa went the Army route. I went, the college route, but it's a lot of untold stories, a lot of sleepless nights on things that went on behind the scenes for us to be here today, to be able to have the things that we have and to do the things that we do. But it wasn't an easy route by no means, but we were able to, but everybody is not able, so.
Right. And if you want to do something, step out on faith. God ain't going to let you do something that you can't handle. When I joined the Army, I did not want to leave Chicago. I'm like telling my recruiter, oh, I'm not going active duty because I want to stay in Chicago. I love it here. I'm just so like engulfed in the hoodness that I don't never want to leave it. And if it wasn't for my recruiter, who was a very big support system for me, I was going through so much at the time when I joined the Army. I was homeless and all kinds of stuff. If it wasn't for him, I promise you, I would not be here today with a master's degree, a great job, great friends, have my own apartment, have my own car, I have my own things. I don't have to worry about nothing from nobody. Mm-hmm. So, you know what, and things may be hard, but don't be afraid to take a leap out and do something different. Because if you want a different result, you got to do something different.
Yeah, say it again for the people in the
balcony. I'm just saying, you got to do something different if you want different results.
Yeah, true that.
We wanted to say thank y'all for watching this video. It is a very heavy topic, talking about police brutality, talking about Black women, the things that we have to endure in the streets, in the workplace, and in the courtrooms when it comes to getting justice. Mm-hmm. Black women are making a change all over the country. 12 Black judges in Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. So it can be done. Don't let Breonna die in vain. She was in a medical field. Do something in her name. Work hard, grind, and do what you need to do to make things happen for yourself and for people that cannot speak.
Yes, and this fight, it's not going to be a sprint. It's a marathon. It's not going to be healed in 1 year, 2 years. This is something that starts now, but we do not need to lose the momentum that is going on. So right. We need to keep Breonna's name alive. We need to keep George Floyd's name alive. We need to keep the names that have not been spoken and not on camera names alive, because you know they still matter, and we need justice for all. I just want to thank y'all, like Vanessa said. If y'all like this video, please give it y'all comments. Let us know what you're thinking down below.
If I would like you guys to please like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.
At Kiara and Vanessa on Instagram.
Yes, tell us your thoughts. And until next time, it's
been real, Kiara and
Vanessa.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Lord.